Okay, good morning from Singapore, and thank you for joining us. It is 7:30 a.m. in Singapore. Looking at the people that are joining, it is 9:30 a.m. in Sydney, 11:30 a.m. in Auckland, 4:30 p.m. on the west coast of Canada, 7:30 on the east coast. And we have a few people up quite late from the UK where it is after 12 p.m. after 12 a.m. So good to see everybody is taking the time, and thank you for joining us. We are excited to hold our first webinar introducing Global Mortgage Group. I'm sorry, America Mortgages by Global Mortgage Group. My name is Robert Chadwick, one of the co-founders. If you've been in our webinars before, you're very familiar with what we're offering. The launch of the new brand, America Mortgages, we wanted to be more focused on our core business, providing mortgages for foreign nationals and expats. That's all we do, to either purchase, refinance, or release equity from their properties in the US. We're introducing new programs very specific for your situation, programs that have been requested over the past few months. And with this new launch, we thought it was a very appropriate time. So today we'll cover the basics of each program, and anything that may not be covered or anything that you would like to know more specific, feel free to email me or call me directly. First off, what makes America Mortgages different? It's simple. When you're living and working outside the US, whether you're a foreign national or a US expat, you're unique. I always like to use the analogy of a car dealership. It's just a simple way to explain it. If I want to buy a Volkswagen and I'm driving by a Ford dealership and they have two Volkswagens outside, I go inside. Sure, they know it's got an engine, they've got tires, they have the basic information, but that's not their expertise. Their expertise is selling Fords. I only have a couple cars to choose from, and if I have any issues, they really don't know how to fix it. Now, if I want to buy a Volkswagen, my best option is to go to a Volkswagen dealership. They know the products, they have a wide selection, and if anything goes wrong, they certainly and absolutely know how to fix it. And this is exactly why we founded America Mortgages. 100% of our clients are people just like you. They're foreign nationals, they're expats, and just like that Volkswagen dealership, this is our expertise. So to that, I'll touch quickly on some of the programs, or all the programs that we have to offer. Just a general guideline of what is required, and anything specific after the webinar, we'll have a Q&A. And again, you can always email or call me directly. So our most popular program is for foreign nationals. You don't need US credit. Sorry. You can use your local credit in order to qualify. We can get up to 75% loan to value on a purchase in all 50 states. 70% if you're looking to cash out on a refinance, or if you're just looking to possibly lower your rate. Income-wise, because we're doing loans across the globe, somebody from Toronto is providing the same type of documentation as somebody from Shanghai. There's not going to be a deep dive into your financials, which actually works out quite well for many of our borrowers. If you're self-employed, we just want to see a letter from your accountant, which states your last 2 years' income and your current year to date. If you're employed, it's the same thing, but from your employer on the employer's letterhead. It's a very, very simple and easy way to qualify. If for some reason people are self-employed, you have a difficulty showing your true earning potential, We have programs that do not require any proof of your personal income or your company income, and it's purely going to go off of the rental income of the property. So this is perfect for professional real estate investors where maybe you own a lot of properties and the banks have put a limit on the number of properties or number of mortgages that you can have. For borrowers that are self-employed and maybe not declaring their true buying power, these programs are very, very specific for this and make it very easy. Somebody from the Middle East, for example, where you're not filing tax returns, this loan is really targeted towards those kind of borrowers. Super easy. In most cases, the rental income is counted one for one, meaning that if you take your taxes, insurance, and your mortgage payment, just as an example, if it's $2,000 a month, the rent that you get is $2,000 a month. It's a wash, and the loan qualifies. Probably our second most popular program is for U.S. expats. So if there's any U.S. expats that are out there, our goal is to make these loan programs exactly as if you are working and living in the U.S., walking into your local bank and applying for a mortgage. There is no difference in the type of product that you're being offered. The main difference is the type of service that you'll receive. So our promise is to be as transparent as possible with the entire loan program. So whether it's being disclosed right from the start, what all your closing costs will be. So when you show up at closing, you're not going to be surprised. Or it's just the daily emails that you receive to not only just remind you of any documents that may be missing, but also just where the loan process is and how close you are to closing. These U.S. expat loans, they do not require a W-2, and foreign earned income is fine. So I think if you've experienced this before, you've seen that that is a major hurdle when you're applying at even the most prominent of international banks. One of the things that we're very excited about, and it's a fairly new program for us, but we've closed quite a few. And a matter of fact, just yesterday, we closed quite a large one, is the portfolio loans. We have a lot of clients, regardless of where they live, that own a lot of properties. Right? Most of these properties were paid for in cash, or if they were financed, it was normally financed with an individual loan. So if you own 5 or more properties, then you may qualify for a portfolio loan. This is similar to the professional investors loan, where your personal income is not the qualifying factor. The loan is based on the cash flow of the property. So at some point, normally it's kind of around the $1-2 million range of the portfolio. It no longer matters if you're a U.S. citizen or a foreign national. You're going to have the benefit or the same rate and the same program as you would if you were a U.S. citizen. So we have these programs that are purely asset-based, and the rates right now on these are fantastic. What makes it really attractive? Somebody that owns, just to give you an example, we have a client in this region that owns 400 units in a major city in the U.S. They were able to do a portfolio loan, make one payment for all those units. So if you can just imagine the administrative weight that is lifted off of them by doing something like this, it's tremendous. So these loans, again, are very easy to qualify. It's based just off of the cash flow of the property. We also offer commercial loans, we've recently brought on a very experienced banker from a very well-known US bank. This is something that we get more and more requests for on a daily basis. Right now, for a residential purchase, so this would fall into whether it's a foreign national or US expat, a 1 to 4 unit is considered residential. Anything over a 4 unit, whether it's a 5 unit or 200 unit property, is considered commercial. We have loan programs now that can access this type of financing in all 50 states. Super aggressive on pricing. The way you qualify, again, is very much based on cash flow, although there are a bit of requirements which are a little bit more extensive just because it's commercial, but it's quite a very straightforward loan to apply for. Our probably most popular loan program outside the standards right now, and this has to do with everybody wanting to increase their liquidity, is the bridge loans. So this is an excellent way for somebody to access liquidity very quickly and very easily. Whether it is for buying a business partner out, investing in another real property, or investing in an opportunity. We can do these transactions strictly based on the asset. So your current financial situation, if it's been affected by COVID or some other matter, won't be the qualifying factor. The property itself, or the asset, will be how the loan will be underwritten. We can get up to 70% loan to value on these loans, and we've done these transactions in as quick as a week. Minimum loan amount for these types of loans, just because of the amount of work and the lenders that are targeting this, is $1 million, and there is no maximum. So our promise with this new launch and with American Mortgages is to be as transparent with the process as possible. We appreciate the trust that you've given us. We realize that a mortgage is a big transaction. It's anywhere from a couple $100,000 to several million, and we appreciate the fact that you trust us and our company and our goal. To us, to American Mortgages, you're not a number. You will receive daily updates. We are always just a phone call or a text message away. And we are very easy to reach. And I think what really sets us apart is because this is our only focus. As an example, we have a lot of loans that fall out from banks or online lenders just because they don't understand the intricacies of this type of lending. This is 100% of our clients. This is all we know. And this is what we specialize in. So I can assure you, we will do our best to make sure that your loan closes as smoothly and as easily as possible, with as much and with full transparency on every step of the process. So I think I've covered the general guidelines of what we're offering, the loan programs, and how we'd like to think we set ourselves apart at American Mortgages. So I'm going to open this up to questions. And again, if for some reason I missed your question, there's quite a few people that are attending, then just please feel free to email me or send me a WhatsApp directly. So on that note, let's look and see what we have here. A question: where are most of your clients from? It's quite interesting. We have a lot of clients from Canada. Even though we are Asia based as a sales force. Our processing is done in the US, and we actually have a couple of our sales mortgage professionals on the US East Coast as well, so to handle the time zones. So once you're engaged in the loan process, whether you're talking to somebody on this side of the world or on your side of the world, you'll have 24/7 access. And so if it's a purchase, so will your realtor and the escrow companies. Another question, what is the typical loan to value? Uh, it really ranges. I would say on a refinance in general, because our loans are LTV driven, sorry, because our loans are LTV driven, meaning the higher the loan to value, the higher the rate goes. We see a lot of loans that are 50% loan to value or even lower, especially if somebody is looking to perhaps just lower the rate or even cash out on a certain property, but they only need X amount. So on a refi, I would say anywhere from 60% and below. On a purchase, we get loan to values all the way up to 75%. And I would say if you're talking about using leverage, most people will leverage as much as possible on a purchase. Another question from Canada, where are most of the clients buying? Very, very good question. It's interesting because it seems like the east coast of Canada is buying down in Florida and the west coast of Canada is buying down in Texas. So I would probably say those are the two most popular states, Florida and Texas, whether it's actually for a purchase or a refinance. Here's another Canadian question. I'm a Canadian with an ITIN with the IRS. Does this change anything? For us, it doesn't. You are not required to have an ITIN number to do our loans, which I think you'll find is probably very, very unique. The big issues on qualifying for the mortgages that we have is if you have a US passport or you don't have a US passport. That's really the qualifying criteria. Even as a foreign national with US credit, for us, it's not required. You could use your Canadian credit to qualify for our mortgage loans. So to answer your question, it does not. It's basically the same loan programs. Would you consider opening an office in Ontario? Absolutely. We are very open to collaboration, and we've done this across the globe, whether it's Tel Aviv to London to Paris, down to South America. So absolutely, just contact me directly. What loan programs do you have? We went over this in the beginning, and this video will be posted again both on Facebook and on, I believe, Instagram, Twitter, and on our website. So our loan programs are simple. They're for national, showing income, which is done with an income letter. Foreign national, going strictly off of the rental income of the property. And when I say foreign national, I mean the maximum loan to value is 75%. And on a purchase, refinance is 70%, and they are not holding a US passport. And expats. So the expats, they can qualify up to 80% on a purchase and on a refinance. Let me see. What are the interest rates you're offering on purchase loans and refis? It really depends on many factors. If you're the state that the property is located in, There's more loan programs, as an example, in Texas than there are in New York. The type of property, the loan to value, et cetera, I'll kind of put things into perspective of where the U.S. mortgage market is right now. If you look at how Fannie Mae is looking at investment properties and treating investment properties and second homes. So about a month ago, Fannie Mae had put an announcement out that they were going to start scrutinizing investment properties and second homes more stringent than they had in the past. A lot of this is due to the fact that that many real estate investors have taken advantage of the government programs where they're not servicing their monthly debt. So lenders are not allowed to foreclose in certain places, and real estate property owners are not allowed to evict, again, in certain states and so forth. They expect this to, as it unfolds, that the real estate market for investment properties and second homes to get a little bit ugly. And because of that, it has affected interest rates and for us, and not a positive way. So interest rates have gone up because of Fannie Mae's announcement. But I will say, when we started this company as Global Mortgage Group a few years back, before we launched American Mortgages, our rates now, even with this Fannie Mae announcement, are an all-time low. So my suggestion on the person that asked about the rates is, give us a call, set up a time with one of our loan officers, and we can go over all the details of where the property is located and what you're looking to do. Do you offer loans with longer fixed terms? Yeah, this is really one of the things that sets us apart. All of our loans right now are 30-year fixed, meaning that regardless of your age, whether you are 20 or you're 90, you still qualify for a 30-year mortgage. This really, it's very, very unique to the US. You cannot discriminate against somebody for their age. So to answer your question, all of our loans, if you want, have a 30-year amortization. One thing that we have, which is an absolute fantastic program, is we have a 10-year interest only. How this works is the first 10 years of the loan, you're servicing only the interest. So if you're looking for increased cash flow, or perhaps maybe you're going to move to the US in 4 to 5 years, and you're going to refinance the property into an owner-occupied loan, this is an awesome way to do it. So how it works is the first 10 years is a fixed 10-year interest only, servicing the interest, no principal paid. After the 10-year period, the loan will convert to a principal and interest 30-year fixed at the same rate. And that'll be for the next 30 years. So you have a total tenure of 40 years. Well, that was another question right here. Do you offer interest-only loans? We certainly do. I think that's quite unique if you look at not only just the US banks, but if you look at Canadian banks that offer US mortgages, although it is limited in the locations that it's offered, the fact that we are probably one of the few, if not the only brokerage outside of the US that can offer interest only, super solid program. Let me see, what other questions? Do you have Malaysians applying for this loan? Absolutely. Again, going back to our core business, 100% of our clients are foreign nationals or expats, meaning that any issues that you would likely have, living in Malaysia, living in Hong Kong, translations, bank statements, etc. We've resolved all of these. You're not going to have them with us. It's still a bank loan. It's still a bit of an administrative challenge, but I think we've taken all of the I guess, hurdles out of the race. We've tried to make it as smooth as possible. Let me see, any other questions? Are there any costs involved, and do we pay a fee? Again, this really depends on excuse me again. Again, this really depends on the loan program, the state, etc. We have loan programs that there are no fees. We have loan programs that you will pay points. And in my opinion, it really just depends on the long-term goal of your property. When you see a loan that has no points, it doesn't mean that there's not a fee. It just means that the fee is embedded into the loan. So normally the interest rate is higher. So if your goal or your long-term goal is to hold the property and not to flip it or sell in a short period of time, it may be worth your while to look at paying points or to not look at paying points. And I think one of the things, again, that we do very different than what a bank does is we show you the different programs. We have a variety of programs. We're not just showing you from one lender or one bank. Do you finance in non-US homes? Yes. When we originally started a Global Mortgage Group, our goal was to, when you thought of purchasing or refinancing a property in a country that you do not live in or do not hold a passport for, we wanted that was our goal, is to be that thought in your mind. And so we do loans in Canada, we do loans in Australia, UK, France, pretty much on a global scale if it's a major country. So any questions that you have on loans outside of the US, feel free to message us directly. I'm an entrepreneur in Australia with a lumpy income. Can I qualify for US mortgage? Yeah, this is really, again, I've said this a lot, but this is really where we shine. We see a lot of self-employed people, a lot of entrepreneurs. A lot of people have a very difficult time proving their income on traditional bank lending. Because, again, our normal qualifying isn't based on your tax returns or your pay stubs. It's going to be based on a letter from your accountant or your employer. If you can show from your accountant that in their writing a letter that this is the income that you're making, absolutely, this is what's accepted. If for some reason, you're not showing that, and or it's more difficult to prove your income, perhaps maybe you have one good year, one bad year, COVID's affected your business, it's not an issue. We can, again, choose to the professional investor's loan and go just strictly off of the rental income of the property, both on a purchase and a refinance. Oh, this is the person that stayed up quite late in London. So I'm a UK doctor living in London. A tough time finding a bank loan that will give me a mortgage for a condo in New York. Are you able to do this? One with the international banks, they don't seem to be too interested in speaking with me. It's not that the banks can't do it. Often it's just they don't want to do it. For every, I don't know what the exact number is, but just as an example, for every 10,000 customers that they have, there's probably one person like you. At America Mortgages, for every 10,000 customers we have, they're all like you. So the issues, again, that you have, you're not going to have with us. New York, absolutely, purchase, refinance, equity release, all of it's possible. We can do some very, very high loan amounts in New York. We've done them as high as 30 million US. Um, the only issue is it's not just for us. It's pretty much a general lending issue. Stay away from co-ops. Co-ops. It's very challenging in the event that the bank would have to take the property back to sell just because of the way that it's structured. Okay, I'm mainly interested in Florida. Sorry, I should have said that. Yeah, Florida, absolutely. It's probably 30% of our business right now. It is a super hot market. A lot of people are flooding in from states like New York, California. So it's a fantastic market. There are no restrictions, maybe in certain condos in Miami, but in Florida in general, very easy to get a loan there. So, what else do we have? Chinese clients can use Ant credit score to replace this credit score. Is that possible? Yes. So because we don't require U.S. credit, we can use credit from any country. If the credit is in a foreign language, it obviously needs to be translated by professional translation, needs to be stamped, and we need to see the translation company license, which is very, very common. But as long as they meet certain credit requirements, then most credit is accepted from most countries. Now, in the event, and we see this, it's not as common as you would think, but in the event there's a country that doesn't have a credit reporting agency, or maybe people just pay cash, we can certainly qualify off of alternative credit methods. Whether it is, say, for example, car payments or insurance payments or something along that line. As long as we can show that you've made these payments over, say, a 24-month period, we can use that as alternative means of credit. So to answer your question, yes. I have a Florida registered LLC. Should I apply for a loan as an individual or through my LLC? So that's actually an excellent question, and it comes up quite often. We do allow the title to be held in an LLC. So the title can be held in a U.S. entity. The loan itself needs to be under the individual. So you're applying for the loan as the individual, but the property ownership is held by the entity. Absolutely possible. Okay, one more question. I represent a family office in Hong Kong who is looking to develop land into a large commercial property in Texas. Can you help finance this for me? We've actually done a very similar project in Texas. So absolutely. It's going to depend on various factors, but in general, it is something we can definitely assist with. So I would suggest reaching out to myself, and I'll put you directly in touch with the individual in one of our offices that handles these types of transactions. So I think unless there are any other questions, I see there's actually been quite a few people that have joined since we started. I want to thank everybody again for supporting us, joining our webinars, our weekly newsletters. Please follow us on social media if you want updates on what we're doing and new program launches, etc. We look forward to working with you, and thank you very much, and have a good day.